Well, welcome back to the Timeline Ranch. It's a beautiful morning. Figured we'd take a walk to the 3040 model, give you a look at how it's looking after a little bit of a rain event. Give you a quick look around. Kids are over there hiking on the side of the ridge. What a difference a little rain makes out here in the Chihuahuan Desert. So the 3040 model is right over there. We'll walk down this road and come around to it. It's gotta be tough to be a rabbit out here. All the predators, not to mention the very hard, rocky, compacted soil you have to burrow into. They managed to make it happen though. They burrowed in right here. There's another, I don't know if that's an exit or entrance over there. There's about a 70% chance of rain today. Hopefully it happens. It'd be nice to catch a little rain event while I'm here at the ranch, especially during the daytime. Get the pond back where it should be and get everything hydrated. Try to catch back up from the drought. You can see the creosote bushes always tell the story. It dropped most of its leaves trying to survive through that drought, but it's starting to come back now. When you see flowers on the creosote bush, you know you at least got a 1-inch rain event. They're opportunistic bloomers. They will bloom anytime they get 1 inch of rain. Doesn't matter the season. Sometimes you'll see 3 stages of seeds on the same creosote bush. This one looks like it probably would have died if it had went another 3 or 4 months. Studies have shown that the creosote can last for about 2 years without rain or water, however you like to say it. Notice all the birds are a lot more active. Some of the flowers on the creosote bush. Taking this opportunity to make some more seeds. A little honey mesquite. It's coming back, but it definitely took a hit on that last drought. You can see a lot of these portions of branches died out on it. 2 years ago, this was all green canopy. That was a very tough drought. Here's some seeds in their ripening stage. The creosote. This is a viscous acacia. It looks like it's taking this opportunity to bloom. It's not the season for it to bloom. Usually it blooms around June. We're almost into September now. That's one of the biggest viscous acacias that's on the ranch that I'm aware of. Doesn't mean there's not another one, but I haven't taken the time to really walk through the other 40-acre sections. I'm mainly focused on this back south 40-acre section. Got some cloud formations that may turn out to be rain a little later around. Yesterday there was a nice rain to the north of the ranch. It rained for multiple hours over there. It's always like that out here though. You very rarely get a sheet rain event where it just rains across the whole area. So here we are at the little shallow pond next to the 3040 model. Doesn't have any water in it because it's been a while since it rained, but definitely made an impact on the vegetation around it. Let's take a look down inside of here. Some flowers in the Asteraceae family. Creosotes look nice, of course. Chihuahuan sage coming back to life. This is Baccharis silvifolia. It's starting to bloom now that it's gotten some water. These are usually the first to show up around a new water body that's been established, so it's a good sign to see that there. Usually the succession is Baccharis, then willow, and then cottonwood over time. Of course, it may take hundreds of years for that to happen, but that's usually the series of it. Got a young little Mormon tea, Ephedra novatus, coming back to life there. A lot of roots from the creosotes that were here when I excavated this. The spoils from here were used to fix the road up that direction. There's a few flowers on this Chihuahuan sage. They smell very similar to jasmine. It'd be nice to catch another little rain event now that everything's had a little time to recover from the drought. I'm sure you can see a lot of blooms happen. And see, it didn't fill this little pond up all the way. There's a sediment line right there. Some organic material and different seeds from grasses. I'm sure if it rained again, this would go ahead and sprout. This little run here where all the seeds are deposited. I plan on digging this down considerably deeper because I need more road fill material up there. Plus, you can't have enough ponds out here anyway. So here we are at the 3040. Let's see a little depression here in the trench on the outer edge of it, acting as a swell. It's like we have a little gall here on the side of this creosote. Nice to see a little green around here again. That's a very happy creosote there. A little more Ephedra novatus. Not a whole lot of growth inside there though, still. Need just some light rain events to keep the moisture level up. It'd be nice to have a real heavy rain event to fill this trench up to see how much that impacts everything that's right around here. I'm going to plant later one of those, well, probably a couple of those Phoenix dactylifera date palms that I'm growing there at the house. I think they'll do all right here once this gets established anyway. Right here where I planted that little baby honey mesquite, I transferred from the pond and then the drought started so it didn't get a chance to root. I'll probably plant a palm here next to this sump hole in the Indian version of the 3040 model. And this is my version with the trench all the way down the edge. Got some growth down in the trench. These are desert olive or New Mexico olive coming in there. Got a little grama grass coming in down there. This outer edge that holds, because it's on the lower end of the trench system around the 3040, holds a little bit more water. You can see a lot of life in here. Little Asteraceae family flowers. Got a tar bush right there. It's nice to see. You can also see that the creosotes right along the edge here look a lot more full than the ones further out. Got some more grama grasses coming in here, completing their life cycle. Around the edge as well, where there was a little bit of water in there. It looks like the water filled this one all the way up. It's gone now because it's been so long. There's still a little bit of moisture in that corner right there, you can see. This is feather plume. It's in bloom. Not real showy flowers. This is early in the morning too. They're not open. This is the reason they're called feather plume from this. Looks like dow feathers. Birds. Looks like we have a desert local moved in down there. Pretty good size hole. Probably a kangaroo rat or something like that. Could be a lizard, type of lizard as well. A few creosotes out here. Yeah, it definitely looks better. Hopefully we'll get a few more rain showers before this monsoonal season's up. See some more vegetation growth in here. Maybe the 3040 model needs to be adjusted a little bit. Yeah, I was hoping to see some more growth in here. We haven't had a lot of just light rain events that would keep the ground moist for different types of plants to take root. We've had, one good rain event and then it was done. So hopefully we'll get some showers still before this monsoonal season's over. Get some more of the native species established inside of here just to see how they work isolated from the outside where they don't get any other water sources. Just what falls in that area stays in that area. I believe later on when I can get some trees established on this south side that will shade during that hot evening sun from the west, we'll get some more ground cover in here. Looks like one of our millipedes is out and about. So the 3040 models take a long time to see the benefits of them. probably 10 years, start seeing the difference between the trapped area versus the area around it. We'll have to be patient. This one was built, we had a little rain event that seemed like it was starting to kick it off, and then an exceptional drought that probably only happens every 15 years or so out here, so it was kind of a bad start to it. Hopefully here in a couple more years we'll see some advantages to doing this style system. I'll see you on the next one.